Hello and welcome back to another episode of Lynch Paints, where today I'll be painting something very special. So I'll be painting up some Spartan 2s from the Halo franchise. I absolutely love Halo. I've been dying to paint these up. So let's grab our paints and paintbrushes and let's dive straight into it. But before we dive into things, we're going to need a selection of paints, and these are the ones I've used in this video today, alongside which you will require a medium size to small brush and a teeny tiny brush for all those teeny tiny places. So with this model we're going to start out with a black acrylic primer, and then what we'll do is that we're going to grab some Abaddon black and some of this Lauren Forest, and we're going to start with the armour. So we're going to want a bit of black and probably mixing a 60-40 ratio of the Lauren Forest, and then I'm just going to thin it down with a little water, and then we're just going to start to tackle the armour panels. So just using a medium to fine brush, and then we're just going to go over as neat as we can. If it does look a bit streaky at first, it doesn't matter too much because we'll be going back over it just a couple more times, building up our colours just a tad, and then highlighting later on. So now I'm adding in pure Lauren green, and I'm just going to go over roughly 80% of the armour as a sort of heavy highlighting in a way. So I'm going to leave some of the darker recesses just with the first layer, and then I'm just going to go over the top, the majority over the top, with Lauren green. And just take your time with this step, and you should notice that any previous areas that looked a little bit streaky will smoothen out. So now that he's looking very suitably Spartan-like, we are going to go with some highlighting. So we're going to take our Lauren green and we're going to mix in some of this orc flesh, or generally any sort of lighter but slightly more pale green. We don't want to sort of jump straight into like a more neon green. We want to keep the tones quite sort of earthy in a way. So I'm going to mix the two together, about 50-50. Just thin it down with water, and then using a small size brush, or just any brush with a very fine tip, we are going to very carefully start to pick out the highlights. So now that the armour is pretty well done, we're going to go back over the under armour just to tidy up a couple of areas. So we're going to mix our black with some of this Incubi darkness. Again, about 50-50. And then just using a medium size fine tip brush, we're just going to go in between just to tidy up some of the areas. Plus, adding in the Incubi darkness has a slight blue tints to it, so that will just help to make it stand out, and so it contrasts quite nicely with all the green. Now it's time to paint the weapon. So again, using the same mixture as before, we're just going to cover the majority, just saving this top half here, in this lovely kind of bluey black mixture. And then we'll start to pick out some of the raised areas using pure Incubi Darkness. So for the rest of the battle rifle, we're just going to use some of this Iron Warriors silver, or any kind of mid-tone silver that you have. I'm just going to apply this just around the top of the assault rifle. I went over the gloves, the fingers, the hands, with a little bit of Storm Vermin Fur mixed in with our Incubi Darkness and Abaddon Black mix, just as a final highlight, just to make them stand out just a tad. Yeah, going to move on to the last step. So that's going to be his visor, and for this, any type of sort of bright gold. And for this, I'm just using this Retribution armor purely because it's the only bright gold that I have. Dab off a bit of that water. And we're going to very, very, very carefully just fill in his visor. And so here we are at the end of the video. So this is how I went about painting the Spartan 2s for any form of tabletop game you like to set them in. So I had a good friend of mine print these off for me. Thank you ever so much to him. And the files I got for these were from a Facebook community page for Halo Ground Command, and they have a 32mm scale game for these as well, and there's files for them over there. If you speak to one of them, they're ever so lovely, and they'll be able to point you in the right direction and sort you out from there. I'll include a link to them in the description down below. These have been really, really fun to paint. I am a massive Halo fan. Not a huge fan of the TV show, but we won't discuss that here. Yeah, this is just for painting. So I've got a couple of other files that I have that models that I have that I will inevitably do a painting tutorial. I know that just on the horizon in the next few months that we have a new Halo tabletop game. The scale for them is, I think it's 40mm, so these are quite small. These are sort of the 28mm scale, so I've got a plan for these to use them in a sort of homebrew D&D campaign set in the world of Halo. So that's going to be quite fun further down the road, but I figured I may as well paint them up and do some tutorials and share them with you online as I go about painting all sorts of things. I've got some ODSTs, got a Warthog, got loads of Covenant units as well, so yeah, some exciting things ahead for me to paint up and for you guys to have a look and watch along and paint along and such. So thank you ever so much for watching. There'll be stills and reels of these over at my Instagram page at Lynch Paints if you want to check me out over there, and anything that you found interesting and fun and enjoy the video, then do show your support with a like, and if you're new, a subscribe as well would be massively appreciated. So without further ado, stay safe, stay beautiful, and we'll see you all next time.